Your physical senses are professional liars. Every object, every circumstance, every person surrounding you is nothing but a holographic projection generated from the deep, hidden architecture of your subconscious mind. This three-dimensional world is not a fixed, immovable structure. It is a fluid, highly responsive simulation, a dense shadow cast by the light of your own consciousness. Your current reality is simply a collage of your most dominant, deeply ingrained assumptions. The mirror holds absolutely zero power to initiate its own reflection. It merely obeys. When you stare into the mirror and despise the reflection, you are surrendering immense creative power to a dead illusion. To permanently change the projection, you must stop manipulating the screen entirely and return directly to the projector room, which is your own wonderful human imagination commanding reality completely. The physical world you are experiencing right now is not currently being created. It is entirely a manifestation of past observations. There exists an unavoidable buffer of time between your inner four-dimensional imagination and its outer physical manifestation. Therefore, reacting emotionally to present physical circumstances is exactly like screaming at a shadow, desperately begging it to change its shape. When you observe an empty bank account and feel intense despair, you are making a brand new observation saturated with profound lack. This active feeling immediately collapses a new wave function, perfectly guaranteeing that identical circumstances project into your future timeline. It becomes a perfect, inescapable cycle of self-sabotage driven entirely by sensory illusion. Your unmanaged emotional reactions are the exact parasites consuming your creative life force completely, and return completely to the pure, formless state of I am, boldly declaring your new reality, even while the physical shadow world screams the exact opposite. I am is the true name of pure, unconditioned consciousness. It is the blank canvas of reality itself. Every single time you declare I am followed by a condition, you are actively painting that canvas with absolute precision. I am broke. I am lonely. I am sick. These are never objective facts. They are self-imposed decrees. Your subconscious mind does not argue. It processes every decree with absolute terrifying precision and outpictures it directly into your three-dimensional hologram. To permanently change the hologram, you must stop identifying with physical conditions entirely. Acquiring the pearl of great price demands that you completely liquidate your current beliefs, your deep-seated excuses, and your fierce attachments to physical facts. You must forfeit your right to be a victim of circumstance entirely. You cannot worship three-dimensional physical evidence and simultaneously command the four-dimensional realm of imagination. These two masters cannot coexist. The mechanism of severing the sensory cord requires you to transition from being a suffering participant in your circumstances into becoming a cold, detached observer. When a negative event occurs, you observe the physical echo and completely deny it any emotional fuel. You simply declare inwardly, this is dead energy. This is a past projection. It holds absolutely zero power over my current living state of consciousness whatsoever. Your entire physical world is nothing but an outpictured three-dimensional manifestation of your continuous inner conversations. You cannot physically ignore a debt while inwardly maintaining an anxious conversation about repaying it. Your inner speech is the actual engine of creation. If your internal dialogue matches the physical problem, you are perfectly duplicating that problem into your immediate future. You must violently interrupt every negative inner script the exact fraction of a second it begins. When the physical world presents a terrifying obstacle, your inner response must be radically and defiantly opposite. Your physical senses only report what has already completely materialized and died. They never report what is currently being formed in the invisible realm. Therefore, you must systematically strip your physical senses of their unearned authority over your emotional state permanently, holding the energetic pen that permanently writes physical reality with absolute supreme authority. Find a quiet, dark place. Lie completely flat or sit with your head fully supported. Close your eyes and systematically shut down every single physical sense. Ignore the feeling of furniture against your body. Let ambient sounds fade into meaningless, distant hum. You are withdrawing conscious awareness from the biological spacesuit entirely. Step 2 is entering the void. As you sever the sensory cords, profound weightlessness emerges. Your subconscious mind must become completely incapable of distinguishing this implanted scene from an actual physical memory already experienced. That flawlessly implies your desire is already completely fulfilled. You must be the primary actor, looking directly out of your own imaginary eyes, occupying the state in first-person singular. Step 4 is sensory immersion. Loop this exact 5-second scene continuously, systematically adding vivid imaginary sensory data. Feel the exact texture of the handshake. Hear the specific voice saying congratulations. Smell the distinct scent of the room. Loop this dynamic action until it takes on the exact same vibrant, undeniable tones of reality as the physical waking world. Step 5 is the explosion and the Sabbath. As you continuously loop the highly sensory scene, profound emotional energy builds with tremendous metaphysical momentum. At a specific moment, you will experience what Neville called the explosion. It is a sudden, overwhelming emotional release, an absolute, unshakable internal knowing that it is completely done. The intense hunger for manifestation completely vanishes, replaced by deep, quiet, unshakable peace. Immediately stop looping. The spiritual seed has been successfully planted. Following this explosion, you must enter the Sabbath, a state of absolute psychological rest. You return to the physical world fundamentally changed, walking with quiet arrogance, knowing with terrifying certainty that the invisible machinery of the universe is already rapidly rearranging space, time, and human events to physically objectify your deeply implanted scene. When you aggressively rewrite your subconscious code, the universe must immediately rearrange the physical matrix to match your new assumption. This rearrangement is frequently characterized by sudden, terrifying physical chaos. If you assumed massive financial wealth, you might suddenly lose your current income source entirely. These chaotic events are not failures of manifestation. They are absolute, undeniable proof that the three-dimensional simulation is actively collapsing and rebuilding itself under your strict, unyielding command. You cannot build a magnificent new mansion without first completely demolishing the old rotting structure. You must never interfere with the bridge of incidents. Observe the crumbling simulation with cold, detached arrogance, knowing with terrifying certainty that every single chaotic event is perfectly and mathematically forcing you directly toward your completely fulfilled desire. Assume your rightful throne today and boldly command your universe. When physical reality violently contradicts your new assumption, immediately override the arising despair with a completely opposite, dominant inner phrase. Simply declare inwardly, "Is it not perfectly wonderful?" or calmly state, "I remember when this dead illusion once terrified me completely." You are the ruthless guardian of your own mental fortress. Without your continuous life-giving attention, the old decaying reality absolutely starves to death. Commit to radical detachment for exactly 7 consecutive days. Practice the 5-step sensory withdrawal every single night before sleep. You are no longer a victim of a dead, delayed echo. You are the supreme conscious architect of the ultimate human simulation.